they were ruled by Egypt. They accepted Egyptian religion, Egyptian culture, the clothing. They built pyramids. They did all of those things. But after the Assyrians kicked them out of Egypt, after Napata, which was their capital that was so close to Egyptian territory, was destroyed, and the Kushites moved to Meroe, and they start having their industry of iron, their trade, they in the interaction with more African kingdoms, they start acting more African, because they're African people. So we're going to see the later stages of Kush. Oops, I just hit my mic. That was probably really loud to you guys. Sorry. We're going to see that they are going to start taking, African influences. So one of the things that we're going to see is their art changes, their clothing will change, and their architecture changes. They stop copying Egypt and start doing their own thing, which is really cool. So first off, with their religion, they have this really cool lion god that they worshipped, and I think it is pronounced Apetamak, is going to be the lion god right there, and it was a warrior god. It's pretty cool. Here we can see what we see in the first. We're going to have some hieroglyphic style kind of carvings in there, and we can see in the center that I'm pointing to it with my hand like a silly dude because you can't see that. In the center there we have the lion and we see, like Egyptians, though, it's a lion head. It's actually two lion heads because you got boom, boom. But then it's, a different, completely unique god, which is pretty cool. There's unfortunately not a ton about them, except that it was a military, like a military, like war god. Yeah. Their language changes also. They start speaking Meroitic, and they start writing in this language. Now, you might be thinking, well, are they just still using like the hieroglyphic shapes? And they're not. So they create their own alphabet system as well. So they're completely casting off the ways of Egypt and developing their own style, which is really cool. Now, another thing that's really interesting about Kush is how it's ruled. Egypt was mostly ruled by boys, and it was, the pharaohs. Now, we did have some girl pharaohs like Hatshepsut. We had some queens. Kush was actually ruled by Kandikes, which are queen mothers. So that's right. We have a matrilineal society, folks. Congratulations, girls. We finally get to talk about a society that girls were in charge. Now, there would be kings, but the queen mothers held the true power. So there would be a boy who would be, co-rulers with them, but they typically would kind of be in the military end of things, whereas the queen mother, the Kandike, is going to be the true power. And that's not always even the case. We're going to have Amaranius, she's going to be a Kandike that is going to like fight in battle. She's going to even lose her eye in battle. So that says she wasn't just like behind saying, oh, go conquer over there. She's like really in the thick of it, which is pretty wild when you think about it, because not too many rulers would do that. Like Egypt, their queens were deified, just like how they deified the pharaohs, meaning they were considered gods and goddesses. Notice, though, that the Kandikes are considered goddesses, but the sons or husbands that ruled with them were not considered gods. And like I mentioned her, Amarias, she's going to be the most famous of the Kandikes. And she's actually going to go to war with the Roman Empire. We haven't talked about Rome yet. They're our last unit. But Rome is going to be one of the most powerful civilizations in the ancient world. And here's the thing. Rome can't beat Kush. Rome conquered everywhere, but they did not conquer Kush. Rome actually signs a peace treaty with them because they could not conquer Kush. Now, there's a lot of reasons why. First off, maybe not a huge amount of Roman effort. Secondly, the Romans, they only conquered North Africa and Egypt. They didn't go really sub-Sahara, which Kush would be, and part of it is because it's really hard to get there. Plus, you have the Nile cataracts. But Kush went to war with Rome and won. So that's saying something right there. Now, Kush will not last forever. However, they Ethiopia, which is going to be nearby, is going to wind up going and conquering. Is going to wind up conquering them in 350 CE. But we see this is going to go wind up, lasting longer than even Egypt does. All right. So here we have this art. We have Queen Amarias, and looking at the burning of Roman forts. Yes, she was up there in the battles. Like I said, she wore an eye patch because she lost an eye in battle. I think it was an arrow, but I can't remember exactly. So that is our notes for the day. I'm going to stop the recording.